What is good, YouTube? Welcome to Shiloh Summit. This is the first official video. Well, pretty much on this channel, I'm going to be talking about just things relating to life, the struggles, motivation, stuff that pretty much gets us from the whatever bottom or just exterior you're feeling, or maybe if you're already headed in a good position, you want to just keep heading up to the top. That's that summit we're trying to reach, right? That's just pretty much next point in life, the next goal, the next level, and then just continuing on and on and on until hopefully if we're religious or not, until we reach the actual kingdom. But yes, so that's pretty much the general summarization of what I do on this channel. Today's topic is going to be all about internal strifes. So internal strifes, I wanted to start here because I feel like a lot of times when we talk about just things relating to life and the struggles or even just the benefits, we always are so focused just in this society about the exterior, right? So with the exterior, what's going on around us, physical fights, physical struggles, physical crying, physical everything, right? Everything's physical. But my bad, y'all. Let me get a little comfortable. It's a little hot in here. My AC ain't kicking the way it need to be kicking, if you feel me. But yes, so pretty much we're so focused on the exterior. So I wanted to make this topic pretty much to have us begin with dealing with the interior. So what exactly is internal strife, right? So internal strifes are those inner struggles that pretty much I'm deliberating on right now. Those inner strifes, those inner struggles that we deal with every day in life, right? There's never a day that goes by when you're not struggling with something that pretty much people on the outside might know. Not the people at your job, maybe not even your best friends, maybe not even your own family, right? There's always stuff that we're going on that we don't always show to the exterior. We don't always show to people around us because of different reasons. Maybe we're just not comfortable enough to do that yet. Maybe we just feel like they don't really care, you know what I'm saying? Which is a lot of times in this society. So we try to handle it by ourselves. So just some examples. What are some examples of potential internal strife? So maybe, you know what I'm saying, I know a popular one would just be general working, right? Maybe you're struggling with internal strifes in terms of just you want to start this business, or you just sick of working the job, you're sick of your boss, you're sick of your or maybe like me with jobs plural, and you're just sick of everybody, and you want to do your own independent thing, but you're struggling with the internal will to actually figure out a plan of what you want to do if you're not going to be working for somebody and become your own boss. And B, once you figure out a potential plan, actually going on and actually initiating the action of doing the job, right? That's always a little bit harder when we're actually trying to do what we plan to do. It's always easy in our head. We're just like, yeah, I could do this. I can make money off of that. But it's okay. Now take that first step. You know what I'm saying? First, take that first step. Get the copyright of your name, right? Get your business name down. Get your logo down, right? Get this down. Get a website up. You know what I'm saying? Get your thing copyrighted. If you really want to go big with it, get an LLC, right? All these steps. And a lot of times these just kind of make the task look greater than it is. And then you just get scared, and you be like, I'm gonna just go to work. I'll thug it out. No, what we got, that's an internal strife, right? So a lot of times when it's that, we want to encourage. I want to encourage you to go, right? To actually initiate and do that, because that's the first step towards your new self, right? Your new potential. You could be living the life you want. You're sick of having a boss. Everyone's sick of having a boss, right? Everyone's sick of working at 9 to 5. You could be in Hawaii right now making your money online, selling whatever you're selling, or figuring out providing what service you can that only you can provide, and you know this, but you're struggling with the internal strife of actually initiating and doing it, because the world and the world we live in is so scary. Society, the bills, right? Bills is always going to be there. Like what Beyonce and them say, right? Bills, are always going to be there. So it's more about having the will to do that, and there's an internal strife sometimes in getting to do that. And another way you can format it is doubts, right? So all the doubts for people who maybe they don't understand fully what I'm saying. Doubts, that's pretty much a bunch of internal strikes. Those doubts that we kind of create in the back of our minds, that other part of ourselves that always doubts, like, okay, I could potentially do this, and maybe this will put me in a better position. But then there's that doubt. And a lot of times, now, depending on if you're religious or not, sometimes, especially if you're dealing with something that's righteous, that doubt might be a demon if you feel like that, or it's just negative energy, right? It's just negative. It's that negative part of yourself. A lot of us have it. You got to get rid of that, because a lot of times that hinders you. It's different when you're being cautious and you're just like, okay, let me be careful. This person might not be as genuine as it is. That's cool. That's more of intuition. But when it comes to doubting yourself, when you feel like you have a good idea, oh, this might be this, you owe it to yourself to initiate and try it. But there's that internal strife of that doubt where you're like, yeah, but you ain't good at this person. And you start comparing yourself to others, and that's, you know what I'm saying, that's blasphemy already just going into that, because you're you, they're them. There should be no reason to compare at all, because you're yourself. You know what I'm saying? Same thing as vice versa. If they're trying to compare to you, they're never gonna win, because you're you and they're them. You guys already won, both of you, right? So that's a whole different topic and video in itself. We can get into with that, with the comparisons and just individuality and all that. But keep going with the internal strife. So are internal strifes always a bad thing? No, right? Because sometimes that internal strife could be on the opposite, vice versa. You could be just kind of a person who needs more uplifting and more motivation and more confidence, right? Just, you know what I'm saying? Not everyone's the same. Some people just are really talented and are really capable, but they need that extra push to initiate themselves to do that. So sometimes that internal strife can be you fighting with yourself that people don't see. They're like, why doesn't he or she do this? And they could be making all this money. You're talented. You need to be doing this. If I was you, I'd be doing this, 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 and this, but you're not them. So instead of just, kind of condescending them for not doing it, wonder why they're not doing it. Maybe they're not that confident. Well, let me just, politely urge them like, hey, yo, keep tapping in with them, keep checking in on them. Hey, did you start that? Did you start that? Maybe you should just try it. Just see if it gets any buzz. And if it don't, you know what I'm saying? You can go back to what you're doing right now. It doesn't hurt to try. Urge them in a confident and positive way if you're on the outside. But back to that internal strife with you fighting with yourself pretty much. You have to, that's a positive internal strife, right? Because that's you figuring out, okay, boom, if I can get to the point of actually initiating this, who knows where I can go with it. That's a good internal strife. Sometimes we're so negative, and that's something we got to correct too in our society a lot, especially with us males. If you notice, a lot of males in this generation have a low self-esteem, low confidence. I feel like if you go back and look at some of the OGs, you know what I'm saying? They OGs, they still, you know what I'm saying? They still walking, they still got that smooth stride. They still feel like they on top of the world. That used to be the norm. We got to get back to that, because a lot of times that low confidence is hindering you from getting to where you need to go. That low confidence is hindering you where you need to get to go. It's hindering you from being able to get to where you're supposed to be at. A lot of times then too, we always wonder, you know what I'm saying? If you're religious or not, you're praying, you're like, why isn't this not working? Why am I not getting to where I need to go? Because of that internal strife you're fighting. You know what I'm saying? God can bless you with the tools, but you have to be the one to actually grab them and start the work, right? You can't be mad at someone else when you're not doing the initiating. You're not initiating it. And that's where that internal strife is. That's God helping you, though. If you're religious, if you're not, you know what I'm saying, the universe, that's what you want to go with. That's the universe helping you, pushing you forward. Like, yo, you need to start. You want all these things. You want all this money. You want all this. If you want fame, you want fame. If you want to just have freedom, you want to have financial freedom so you can actually live your life and do what you need to do. To do that, you have to have the confidence and the initiative to start it. And that's that internal strife. That's a positive internal strife. So sometimes when you feel like you're questioning yourself or you're being too hard on yourself to push forward onto something, that's not always a bad thing. Now, if the exterior don't understand that, push them to the side, because that's an internal strife you're going through. You're having a conversation with yourself at that moment, like, hey, we could do better. We need to initiate more, and then this could lead to potentially this, and you need to do this. That's a positive strife. So it might take a little minute, but you got to listen to that one, because that's a positive fight. When you're fighting with yourself, it's not always a bad thing, because sometimes we get too comfortable. That's what society loves, when we get comfortable working a 9 to 5, and you could be the next, you know what I'm saying, the next greatest singer or whatever, right? But you practice your singing all the time. You're not slacking or nothing, but you get just so comfortable. You're like, yeah, but my life's okay. You know what I'm saying? I got a decent place. You know what I'm saying? I got a roommate that I'm cool with. We've been knowing each other for 10 plus years, so I'm not tripping on them ever. I'm saving money up. I'm buying this car. I'm buying this. I can buy whatever I want in terms of just, clothes or whatever. That's cool and all, but are you satisfied internally? And that's the internal strife. Sometimes you're fighting with yourself because you might think you're satisfied, but you're not. That's the crazy one, right? You might think you're satisfied, but the internal, you can't lie to yourself. So that internal strife could be you telling yourself like, hey, this is cool and all. I'm comfortable. We're prospering, but now it's time for us to push ahead and go even further. We can do more than this. You and me both know it's a conversation between you. People, it sounds crazy, but think about it for a second. We all go through this in our minds where we're having that conversation with ourselves, and those are internal strifes. Now, some are negative, right? Some of those can hinder us, but some are positive, and some push us to be better, right? Now, what is in some way dealing with negative strifes, and best ways to cope with those, right? Or elongated just strifes in general. So like, if you're not ready yet, but you feel like you're internally you're ready, but externally to actually put in action you're not ready yet, you're gonna have to just contemplate on that, meditate on it, take your time. You know what I'm saying? No one's rushing you but you. So you're gonna know when you're ready. And even if you don't feel like you are, internally you know you are. So eventually it's gonna happen. You just gotta be patient with yourself and just let it happen. Don't put yourself down too much, because at the end of the day, you're you, right? It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen eventually. It's just a matter of finding that confidence again and finding that victory in the internal strife within yourself to be like, okay, hey, now that I'm confident and we're committed to doing this, now the sky's the limit. We just got to push. We got to keep pushing. Let's see. My bad, I'm going through this list. I just want to make sure I give you all the points I made. Sorry. So, media. Let's get into that real quick. Media, in terms of the internal strife. So a lot of times, again, with that exterior, we're so focused on that exterior, right? When it comes to just what's going on with this person. Even if you're just a kid, you know what I'm saying? YouTube, that's what the kids love nowadays, right? We're always on YouTube. Even me sometimes. We're always on YouTube. We're always on YouTube checking out our favorite YouTubers and their life and what's going on with them. Sometimes we get so focused on the exterior, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you're on. The exterior sometimes can grab a hold of you so much that you're not even paying attention to your own internal stripes, right? You're so focused on them and hey, when are they making their next video? What's going on in your life? I want to know about that. Well, first you got to know about what's going on in your life. You got to make sure you're at the point where you're at. Sometimes we are internally struggling and we don't even know it because we're so focused on the exterior, what's going on around us and what they doing. Maybe it's your friends. Oh yeah, they got the drama with the relationships, or what's going on with that? What's going on with that? But are you happy? Are you at peace within yourself? You're so worried about, sometimes too, we're too caring, right? We're so worried about making sure everyone around us is okay. But what about you? Are you internally okay? Are you getting the same check and energy that you're dishing out to everyone else? Of course, God is always with you, but I'm talking, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, are you satisfied in your life in terms of where you're at and the position you're at? A lot of times when you're so worried about others, you got to make sure that the exterior, the media, just your life around you, outside of internally, because everything starts from internally. That's why I started this series in my new channel with the interior, because I want to start here. I feel like this is the base. And a lot of times we're so focused on the outside and making sure that this is going right, and that's how society wants us. They want us always concerned. We're always stressing about the bills, all this stuff. Those are struggles, those are strifes. But you have to also worry about your internal one. And I know, you know what I'm saying, we got to be realistic with this. You got to do what you got to do to survive and eat. If you got a family, put food on the table, you got to do what you got to do. But it's more so about also finding that time, even if it's like 5 minutes, right? Contemplate with yourself and figure out, are you happy and are you satisfied with what you're doing and the pace you're going at? And remember that too. There's never a limit. You should never be just satisfied to the point where you're just content. Like, you're like, okay, I'm good. No, you should still be pacing yourself. Yeah, we doing real good. You can be making $1 million a month. Yeah, you good. But then what's next after that? You always want to keep pushing. You always want to keep growing and being positive and trying to reach new heights, even with yourself. You want to do that for the exterior too. There's nothing wrong with taking care of your loved ones and making sure everyone's cool, but you have to make sure you're good too, that internal strife within yourself. And a lot of times, especially with that media, a lot of times we be just, I don't know, it's like hypnotism, right? We be so focused, and it's crazy because I be in the same position a lot of times too. I'm not saying I'm better than nobody. We be so focused on that media, making sure we're good. You don't even know if you good. A lot of times, because think about it, you'll find yourself, where it's your TV show, your Instagram, your YouTube, whatever you're on, TikTok, you're so focused on that creator, that content creator, and what they're doing in their life, that media source and what they're doing, that you're not even really paying attention to what you got going on. You're getting through the day because you're like, oh yeah, did my new episode come out? Or what's his name just posted? What's her name just posted? I can't wait to watch the new video, see what's going on in their lives. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? You like enjoying and seeing stuff from other people's perspective and entertainment. That's awesome. But just make sure you're good too at the same time. That internal strife, if you're not paying attention to yourself, you're never gonna be able to grow. You're never going to be able to acknowledge, okay, hey, you would be a lot more happier right now if we did this to go in this position. Be like, hey, yeah, but I don't know if I'm ready. But you're never going to get that conversation with yourself if you're ready or not, even to initiate. If you're so focused on everything around you, you got to focus on you, and you got to be willing to take the time to listen to yourself, right? A lot of times we're always so focused on, again, what's going on around us, that we don't listen to ourselves. We have conversations with ourselves, not crazy, I'm not saying nothing, no schizophrenic stuff. I'm saying there's conversations you have with yourself in terms of just getting yourself through the day, right? We work jobs. I work 2 jobs. So getting yourself through the day, there's certain conversations you have with one job, you know what I'm saying? Before you go into work, everyone has a little like ritual, and not ritual, that's a bad word, but just in terms of steps they take, right, in terms of getting ready for work, when you're getting ready for their day. That's that time when you should be checking in with yourself, making sure you're good, making sure, hey, you know what I'm saying, I know this is kind of hard right now, but we're going to get to a point where we're going to get past this, because that's always the goal. Don't ever forget the goal. And then what are the steps you're taking to go about reaching that goal? That's those internal strifes. You might feel comfortable, like I said, you might even feel at peace, or you might just feel like you're kind of stuck, right? A lot of times in life, we do feel like that, right? We feel like we stuck, but that's that internal strife. That's a negative one where you feel like you're stuck. That internal strife then is that positive, trying to combat that negative and get you out of that hole, that quicksand that you're sinking yourself into, right? You're sinking yourself into the quicksand, sinking into the quicksand. No, you got to fight. You got to stand firm and think, no, it's the internal strife. No, I might be struggling right now, but eventually I'm going to get out of this. Okay, boom. So I know I've now acknowledged, oh, I'm going to get out of this. Now, what's the steps we're going to take? The first step we're going to take to go about leading towards getting out of the hole. You don't even got to take the first step. Ain't got to be getting yourself out the situation. Maybe it's not that easy, but what's the first step you could take? What are some steps or some tools you can use to make it easier dealing with this for now, which eventually is going to lead to you getting out of the hole, right? So that's more dealing with those internal strikes. But in terms of taking steps, it's not always going to be so easy. And that's another thing I think too, sometimes what scares us or leads us to just stay in that same spot we're in is the fact of it's not easy, but that's life, right? Life isn't easy. That's why we struggle, right? That's part of it. So take that time though and make sure you're listening to your internal strikes. Make sure you're identifying a lot of your internal strikes. We're not going to know everything right off the bat, but just take a few moments, take a few minutes of the day, nighttime, whatever time you got, and think to yourself like, okay, so how's life going for me right now? Am I doing good? Am I feeling like I'm doing good? Exclude what's going on in the exterior, right? Everyone could just see you as you're golden, but how do you feel? Don't matter how much external success you have, but how do you feel with that internal success? Do you feel it? And if you don't feel it, then what are the steps you're taking towards achieving that internal success? Because that matters just as much, if not more, than the external. Because a lot of times it's what the internal that sheds into the outside, right? So we need to make sure we're good. So internal stripes. That's why I made this video. I want y'all to start thinking about, sometimes we're so focused on struggling just outside. We got to pay this. We got to do this, right? We got to do this. Oh, dang, I got to pick them up and I got to do this. You got kids, you got to do this. That's excellent. You're figuring out the ways of operating your life so that you can be successful and that you can get through the day and get a night's sleep and then have a home, right? And then eat food, right? Have clothes or wear. We have to do that, right? That's part of society's way of living. That's what we have to do. But also, if you have the time, make the time. If you don't, even a couple minutes, even a minute, make sure your internal success is happening too. Once you get in that stride, right, and you're like, okay, now I know how to handle it. I know the steps I got to go through to pay this and have money to where I'm still saving a little bit and I'm handling all my bills and everything's getting paid and I'm, you know what I'm saying, I'm not dead and I'm not super tired. I might not be getting no 8 hours, of course, but you know what I'm saying, I'm operable. I'm still able to operate. Then feel like, okay, now how am I doing internally? Do I feel that success? Or is this like a step for me where I'm like, okay, this is cool, I'm comfortable, but this is just a step towards something else. You might not even know what you want to do yet in terms of some high level successful, I don't know if it's just a job or just level of living, right? A lot of people, almost always, want to live at a high level, but it's like, okay, what are the steps you're taking towards doing that? You might not know what you want to do exactly yet, but you can take steps to lead you to the point where you can figure out, okay, this is the lane I want to go into within this level of success. Boom, now I got my lane in, start over again, take the steps towards becoming a top high level person in that field or just in that business you started or whatever, right? So take the time and think about your internal stripes as well. Life is hard. We don't really have that much time, a lot of us too, especially if you're you got family you're taking care of, or you just got a lot going on, you live in an expensive city, you're just doing stuff. Everyone can relate to this though. It's just take that time though. Think about those internal stripes and figure out what you can do to make sure you're pleased with the direction you're going. You don't have to be pleased with the position you're in right now, right? A lot of us aren't, but you can take steps to comfort yourself and understand that you're beginning the initiative of heading towards the next level and the next level and the next level. A lot of times we're always so upset because we're not at the level we want to be at. We're not at the point in life we want to be at. But you can find little areas of happiness and comfort in knowing that you're taking steps to get there. Because a lot of times, if you're just looking at this big building, you're trying to scale it, and you want to get to the top of that thing, and you're trying to just jump and go there, it's not going to happen, right? But if you're what I'm saying, there's little ledges, or it's New York, right? And they have the ladders, and you walking up one is struggling, your legs is tired, but you walking up one level of the stairs. Dang, okay, you're looking up. Dang, I still got 100, 200 stories to go, but I took a step. And then you look down, you're like, I'm not on the ground though no more, right? Then you struggling. You on the second flight, the third flight. You're like, dang, I still got over 197 stories to go, but I'm not on the ground no more. And then you looking down, you're like, you know what? the view from up here is a little bit better from down there, and so on and so on and so on. That's how we get to the level we want to get at. But if you're not asking yourself those deep internal questions and making sure you're good, you might not realize that you're getting into comfortability, or you might not realize you're hindering yourself. You got to take the time to ask yourself these questions and observe yourself. You got to get out of being, if you're too cocky, you're not going to be able to admit, hey, I'm getting too comfortable. I'm not on it like I need to be. I need to be doing more towards pushing for further success. You got to be able to take that criticism, especially as men, right? With our egos, you have to be willing to take that success. A lot of times, the females, you're more comfortable with admitting to that, and that's a benefit for y'all. Take that, take advantage of that. Okay, boom. I'm slipping on that. I could be doing this a little bit more. Boom, boom, boom. Males, we got to get on that. Be like, okay, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still did my thing, but I could have did better. I could be at a better point. So acknowledging that and then moving forward towards pushing to going that step further and getting to higher heights is the way to do that. And this has been Shiloh Summit, the first episode. I appreciate y'all. If you are intrigued or you found this video to be beneficial, if you actually made it to the end of this video, thank you. And I appreciate you. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna have a lot more. This channel just is just all about just dealing with the struggles and then just the characteristics of life in general and stuff that we all deal with. We can all learn from. As I make these videos, I'm learning more, and I'm gonna have to, not be a hypocrite and make sure I'm applying all these steps into my life to further my benefits and further my goals and further just my internal success and exterior success as well. So we're all learning. This is all this is. We're all students, and we're all just here to learn. I'm not here to just condescend nobody or push someone out of to their uncomfortable. This is just about comfortability and finding a space where we can talk about how to get through struggles and how to reach new heights. That's what this is all about. That's why it's called Shiloh Summit. We all trying to get to that summit. And then when you get to that summit, there's going to be another one, right? Because it's never ending. But I appreciate y'all. Let me know in the comments any potential topics you would like me to discuss. Let me know if you just want to talk about some stuff. I will make sure I answer back. I appreciate y'all so much. More to come soon, and have a blessed day. I'm about to get ready for work. Peace.